Former Unified Ring Magazine welterweight champion Jaron Boots Ennis has come out and responded and let his fans know why he ended up fighting Weizma Lima, right? And he went through the list on the people that he sent an offer to.
I asked for, Ramos and Boychuk and, Ramos and... ¡Es mi tío! ¡Es mi tío! ¡Es mi tío! Abuela, abuelito, abuela, abuelito, abuela, abuelito.
Yeah, so as you can see, Jesus Ramos said, hey, bro, you ain't sent it to me. That was my uncle. You sent it to me, Tio. Abel Ramos, who campaigns at 147. Now I'm laughing, but this is kind of bad because now it has people wondering like, hey, Boots,
why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
But I'm going to tell you why I don't think Jaron Boots Ennis or Jesus Ramos is lying, but it's still not good. Stay tuned.
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know I'm lying.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talker. We are back for another YouTube video. Banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I know what time it is. A doctor's in the house, man. So check this out. But before we get to it, let's go ahead and smack that like button. Let's do it together. Appreciate you. That really helps us to keep going and growing. Can't talk right now. It's early in the morning while you're yawning. You know what I'm talking about? But look here, man. So we know that Jaron Boots Ennis is making his 154-pound debut, junior middleweight or super welterweight, whatever you want to call the division, right? He's making his debut on October 11th versus opponent that wasn't really anticipated, an opponent that the fans aren't really intrigued by besides me. And a couple other people I think this is a good matchup for your debut. Weizma Lima, who's 14-1 and the current IBO champion, and his only loss came to Aaron McKenna, who he lost to by decision. He didn't get stopped. And Weizma Lima has also been all the way up to middleweight. So you could look at it as, even though Boots is moving up, he's still fighting an even bigger guy, because he also fought at 160 in addition to 154, of course, So me personally, from knowing his background and stuff, I don't think that the contender or IBO champion out of Angola, who fights out of Portugal, I don't think that this is a bad fight for your debut at all. But a lot of people don't share that same sentiments, right? And I'm not mad at that because we want to see him versus Virgil Ortiz, Serhii Boachuk, Bakram Murtazaliev, and Jesus Ramos even. Speaking of Jesus Ramos, Boots, well, he let us know that, hey, man, he took it head on and he addressed the situation and how he ended up on Weizma Lima. He's saying, hey, Weizma Lima wasn't our first, second, third, fourth, or fifth option. It's just he's the only guy that was available that accepted the offer, right? We were talking about he sent offers to Josh Kelly. He sent offers to Serhii Boachuk. We even heard Rashidi Ellis, potentially even Charles Conwell. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but even also allegedly Jesus Ramos. But Jesus Ramos has come out and said this. And I just think this is funny, man. Say, hey, man, that's not me, bro. That was me, Tio.
That's mi tío! That's mi tío!
Well, you sent it to Abel Ramos, who's at 147, who campaigns at 147. And he's like, even he would have thought of, he considered taking the offer, but he's like, hey, I've got to move up to 154. And it's a BS offer, meaning that it's not really the amount of money that he preferred, the appropriate level of compensation. And so we denied it. And I'm not mad at anybody because, we like to call fighters ducks for not taking any offer, but it's like in life, you don't take any offer. Like if you have a job and you're able to negotiate your salary and your compensation upon accepting the job, that's what you do. You don't just take the first offer, So I don't never knock people for getting their money. But I will say this, though. This looks bad on Jaron Boots Ennis. This looks bad on Jaron Boots Ennis, number one, because let me backtrack a little bit. Eddie Hearn, this is right up Eddie Hearn's alley, right? He's very stingy with the coins, right? He's funny with the money. Everybody from Barrios to Norman to Stanionis to now Jesus Ramos to Josh Kelly, everybody that were involved in negotiations, whether it's preliminary or advanced negotiations, they all have the same complaint about Eddie. Eddie tries to lowball you. That's part of the negotiation tactic, right? I'm not mad at that, but we have to acknowledge that once we know, it's up to us to remain ignorant and oblivious, or we could keep our eyes open, get our head out the sand, and act like we know something. So I don't doubt what Jesus Ramos is saying. So that's why I'm saying that I believe both of them, like I said in the intro. But I just think that also with Jaron Boots Ennis, it looks like he's lying right on the surface. But this is me speculating now. I'm not in the camp. I'm not at the negotiation table. I do not know them. I'm just going off of what I consider common sense. I don't think that Jaron Boots Ennis is a liar. He doesn't seem like he hasn't misled me before. You know what I'm saying? I actually listen to these fighters as opposed to listen to these pundits that try to impose their thoughts and their will onto these fighters and put words in their mouth. Jaron Boots Ennis has never told me a untruth. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm going to continue to assume that he's telling the truth. I just think it's a mistake. I think it's just somebody and something have a miscommunication. And I think that somebody and something is Eddie Hearn, his promoter, and Jaron Boots Ennis. And that's bad because this seem like now it's continuous. You know what I'm saying? It's habitual. This has happened before. It is happening again, and it's probably going to happen again and again and again.
Again and again and again and again and again.
You feel me? Again and again, you know? So I just think that with this needs to be addressed on his side, because what I think is also, like I said, I like Jesus Ramos a lot too. I don't think he's a liar either. I think that he's probably telling the truth. But what I think is a miscommunication, again, this is just speculation on my end. I think Eddie Hearn told Boots that he hollered at Ramos. And naturally, we assumed, and just like Boots, we assumed that the Ramos that Boots was talking about was the Ramos that's in your division. Why would you be hollering at a guy, last name Ramos, in the division that you just left? That doesn't seem very becoming of you. So I would assume that Jaron Boots Ennis was under the impression that the Ramos that Eddie Hearn sent the contract to was Jesus and not Abel. And now Jesus is letting it be known. He's like, hey, bro, you know, that's not me ducking. That's not me. I didn't even receive anything. So he has to stand up for himself as well. And so does Boots. Boots has to stand up for himself to let people know and potentially justify why he's fighting Weez Malima. But Eddie, fast Eddie, you know what I'm saying? Eddie being Eddie. So I think it's just a miscommunication. I think Eddie tried to pull a fast one. In my personal opinion, like I said, I don't know. Maybe Jaron Boots Ennis is lying. Maybe Jesus Ramos is lying. Maybe the contract was sent to both of them. Maybe Jesus and his team have a miscommunication and everything's not going accordingly or smoothly. And maybe he didn't receive the offer. You know, there's a lot of possibilities, you know, there's plethora of possibilities. But for me, I'm going with what history has shown me before, is that Eddie isn't always talking and kicking it straight.
When you start hearing people like that say things like that, that gives me a fucking hard on. No, did it?
So I'm going to assume that the miscommunication is stemming from from Eddie saying that he offered Jesus Ramos, communicated that to Jaron Boots Ennis team, and he's thinking, hey man, you know, we said to offer to Ramos, Rashidi Ellis, Boachuk, and Josh Kelly and some more people, and they declined it, and Weez Malima was the only one that was available and ready to accept. But you know, according to Jesus Ramos, that's not the case. You know, you said it to me, Theo. I don't think he's lied either. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Do you think Boots is lying? Do you think Jesus Ramos is lying? Do you think this is Eddie's fault? Do you think that regardless, is Jaron Boots Ennis has to do better as far as his competition, his opposition? And do you think that maybe if it is some type of miscommunication, and even if it's not, do you just not even care? You're like, hey man, Boots just has to do better as a whole. You know, I'm cool with that option as well. Me personally, I think it's a miscommunication between Eddie Hearn, potentially intentional miscommunication from Eddie Hearn to Boots. And I don't think Boots is lying. I don't think Jesus Ramos is lying. I just think it's a classic example of miscommunication, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. I do think this is hilarious. But shout out to Jaron Boots Ennis, one of my favorite fighters at 154. Jesus Ramos, one of my favorite fighters at 154. Both of them are exciting. For me, I think that they're two of the best at 154, to be honest. That's my personal opinion. But I like Xander Zayas. I like Bakram. I like Charles Conwell still. I haven't lost faith to him. I like you know, Lubin. I like a lot of guys. Virgil Ortiz, of course, you know, but two of my favorite guys at 154 are Boots and Jesus Ramos. So me, I'm not one of those fans that want to coddle their favorite fighters. I would love for Jesus Ramos and Boots to throw down. I think that's a great fight. You know what I'm saying? And I like them both. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Don't forget to smack that like button. And remember, most importantly, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. I'm going to catch you on the next video, man, for the most unbiased boxing content out there on the YouTube platform right now. Rock with me. Peace. The doctor's out. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.